Hello, friends, and welcome to Pathologic, Volume 8, Episode 4. It is a week away now from Grand Con, and if you are going to be in the area, if you're going to attend this wonderful little convention, I would love to see you there, and I will hopefully be having some copies of Bubakiki and Stroop available at the retailers who have stores in the convention. And apart from that, I will be in the prototype area. There are chances to play a lot of the games that I have in progress, as well as some other great local designers, and we'd love to see you there. So stop in if you can. But today we are going to be playing a puzzle together, as usual, and it is called La Paz, and let's take a look at the rules. In La Paz, we will shade some cells so that no two shaded cells are orthogonally adjacent, and divide the remaining unshaded cells into two cell regions. So first off, orthogonally adjacent means sharing an edge. It is not talking about diagonal adjacency. And two cell regions, or dominoes. So we'll be drawing lines around all of the unshaded cells to fill the entire space with dominoes and those shaded cells. Clues cannot be shaded. Clues are the numbers. And a clue in a horizontal region indicates the number of shaded cells in the same row as the clue, while a clue in a vertical region indicates the number of shaded cells in the same column as the clue. So for example, this domino here has a 2 in it, which means, since this is vertically oriented, there will be 2 shaded cells in this column. Whereas this 2 is in a horizontally oriented domino, which tells us there are 2 shaded cells in that row. Note that dominoes don't have to have a clue, and they can have multiple clues, but of course in that case they would need to be the same number. Those are the rules of La Paz, so it's time to solve a puzzle. Today's La Paz puzzle was set by Shye. We can begin by drawing borders between adjacent cells if they have differing numbers, because we know that a given domino can only have one. It could have multiple copies of a number, but it can't have 2 different numbers in it. So these are for sure different. And this one in the corner is also going to be able to extend. I suppose we could mark all of these as unshaded as well. But this one's also going to extend in this direction because it can't go that way. And let's count. We can only fit 4, the 4 that we are required in this column, barely. We have to pack them in as tightly as possible since they can't be adjacent. So now all of the adjacent cells are unshaded, and that's going to give us some more dominoes because we've got all these dead ends. So this is going to come out here, this comes out here, this comes out here, and that gives us more dead ends to do the same thing with. And now we can't do it again because across the whole thing, because we could have shaded cells. That was possible because of the unshaded cells that were immediately adjacent. So let's think, but we do have this one here that we might as well fill in. So let's think about these 3 clues, because again, in order to pack in 3 shaded cells, we have to squeeze them as tightly as possible in the rest of that row, and we'll unshade their neighbors. This gives us a dead end over here, so we now have 2 1s in this domino. So there's 1 shaded cell in the same row as this horizontal domino, and we already have it, so nothing else in that row can be shaded, which will give us some more dominoes to mark in. We've got 1 here as well, and then 2 here, and I see a 4 that is also going to be very constrained. I was worried for a moment because I was looking up here. We can't fit 4 shaded cells up there, but of course there is one already in that column. So let's fill in the other 3 as tightly as we can, and now the 4 is satisfied, and we will unshade all of the neighbors of those shaded cells. We have the beginnings of a domino that we have to fill in here, and that is unshaded, and the 0 tells us the entire row is unshaded. This also tells me that the 1 is not horizontal because we can't have 2 different numbers in the same, oriented the same way. So you see that there are no shaded cells in this row. So this can't be a row clue. This must be a column clue, which will mean that one of these 2 will end up being shaded. But let's look for a more obvious place to look before we try to guess which one. We have, maybe we're in the spot now. So we've got a 1 clue here where one of these 2 is shaded and the other one is not. We might be in the place where we're looking for cases where the adjacent clues are in conflict and figuring out which one's vertically or horizontally. But I see that this 3 is going to be the next one, because just like we had with this 1, we've got a 3 that has in the column nothing shaded, and that's going to force this to be a horizontal clue. And I think that it doesn't completely define the row, but it does some work, because we got to fit 3 in this row. We've got 1, and we can't put 2 here because they'd be next to each other. We can only fit a max of 1 here, so this is going to have to be shaded. And then that's going to give us 2 more dominoes, another domino here, and 1 shaded cell in this column has become defined, which gives us another domino and forces this to be a shaded cell because there's no way to put a domino there. We've got a dead end to fill out there, and 1 here, and 1 here, which gives us another one here, and another one here. That also gives us another isolated cell that's going to need to be shaded. We could also get that from this 3 clue. This 3 clue has become vertical. Already sees 1 shaded cell. We need 2 more, and we can only barely fit 2 more. Let's make those neighbors unshaded for those 2. And this 2 clue, if it's horizontal, that's all satisfied already. If it's vertical, we'd need to shade these 2. Those aren't immediately obviously wrong, but I think this is going to tell us what's going on, because this dead end will need to stretch north, and as soon as we do that, we get a dead end here that stretches west. So now this can't be a vertical clue because there's not room for 2 shaded cells in this column, only 1 possible cell. So this will have to be a horizontal clue, and as soon as we do that, we get the 2 and we get an isolated cell, so that one's going to be shaded. And what is unaccounted for is this 1 clue, which we haven't done anything with yet, and there is 1 cell for that to have as its shaded cell, which gives us the orientation of this domino, and 1 lonesome cell which will need to be shaded. And that is how you solve a La Paz.